Okay. Hi, you guys. I'm going to start today with the armor of God prayer. Today, I'm putting on the full armor of God so that when the day of evil comes, when I'm under attack, when I face trials or temptations, I'll be able to stand my ground. I stand firm with the belt of truth buckled around my waist, with the breastplate of righteousness guarding my heart, with my feet ready to take the gospel of peace wherever God sends me. I also take up the shield of faith, with which I can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. On my head, I place the helmet of salvation. I grab hold of the sword of the Spirit, the word of God, sharp and true. Lord, be with me in the heat of the battle and grant me victory. I pray in Jesus Christ's mighty name. Lord, I ask you to reverse any spells cast against me, any witchcraft, and I ask that you please expose and foil any death threats, any plots against me to hurt me physically and spiritually. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Okay, so I was about to do this video today, and I've been planning on doing it all day, and I know I haven't done a video in a while, and right before I was about to do the video, I noticed that the People's Voice reposted on their Facebook page, I think within the past 24 hours, a story about me getting death threats that was published almost a year and a half ago. So it was in 2017, I think in February. And when I saw that, I'm thinking, okay, this could be really good or really bad. It either is a coded message, because if you understand Q and you follow Q and you understand their communications, they use social media to talk in code. So it's either a coded message that is a threat against me, possibly against my life, which wouldn't be the first time, or possibly, since Pizzagate is finally breaking wide open, maybe it's the good guys putting that out there, recycling a story from over a year ago because they're trying to draw attention to my work. However, right when I saw this article, I posted that theory that I had about the article being reposted on my Facebook page, and then I also posted it on my Instagram page, and within minutes, my Instagram page was hacked, and they kept deleting that post. So don't have the best feeling about that article being rerun. I do believe it was a threat against me. So that's why I wanted to start off this video today in prayer. Q encourages us to pray for a reason. This is spiritual warfare. I deal with attacks constantly in every shape, sizes, and forms. It's so annoying, and I don't like dealing with them, obviously. But with that being said, the attacks don't scare me. Satan, you do not scare me. I'm not afraid. I do not walk in fear. I walk in faith. That is how I'm able to do this work, but it's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting, and these kinds of things often happen when I'm about to do a video, because I expose a lot and I talk about a lot of evil that no one's willing to talk about. So Satan knows that, and so Satan tries to do everything to stop me from talking about these things and exposing what's going on, and tries to stop my voice from being heard, but I do not let Satan intimidate me or stop me. And I just want people to remember, there is nothing that Satan can throw at you that God can't overcome. And so when I'm getting attacked and hit hard, I always remind myself of that. So anyways, enough with that. Appreciate your prayers, and always pray for people on the front lines, especially President Trump. Joe M. was getting attacked really bad this week too. Please pray for him and his family. Okay, moving on. All right, number one. So I'm going to talk about the college scams. The college scam story. The cheating scam story. The most important thing people need to understand about this story, one of the most important things is the mass arrests are happening. Lori Loughlin, Felicity Huffman getting arrested. These celebrities were sealed indictments, people. The mass arrests are officially happening. We are seeing the beginning of the sealed indictments being unsealed. We're seeing the beginning of the evil members of the friggin' cabal being exposed. And this is just the beginning. This is just the absolute tip of the iceberg, okay? So no more comments, please, on any of my social media or on YouTube saying, when are the mass arrests going to happen? Or I'm doubting you, Liz, that they're going to happen. They're happening. They are happening right now. And there have been many arrests that have happened over the past 2 years I've been reporting on that are related to the takedown of the cabal, such as the NXIVM arrests and the shutdown of Backpage. The people that were arrested tied to that, they shut down child pornography and sex trafficking in about 300 countries. There's been so much that's happened, and there's been so many arrests related to the storms that have happened that the mainstream media hasn't touched, and so people think that nothing has been happening, and all along there's been a lot that's been happening. But people think that if Obama is in handcuffs or if Hillary is in handcuffs, then the mass arrests aren't happening or they're not going to happen. Wrong. That's wrong. There's over 80,000 sealed indictments. Anyone can go on Pacer and see that with their own eyes. And we are now seeing the beginning of the mass arrests officially going public. And why I'm saying officially going public, because I believe that there have been arrests that have happened behind the scenes, like John McCain, that haven't been made public. So the beginning of the mass arrests that are public is what we're seeing right now. All right, so okay, let's talk. We'll start with Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. All right. There's so much going on with this, and there's so much more than what's being reported in the media that I don't even know where to start. The college admissions scam. All right. So what happened is Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman were paid off for getting their kids, for paying money to get their kids into college. All right. That's what we're hearing in the mainstream media. I believe that these women were arrested for crimes that go deeper than that. And everything's just not being revealed yet. And I also believe this story is going to get much, much bigger. And I believe that this investigation will lead to the rest of many other people, because I believe many other people are tied to this college admissions scam story. But from what I'm seeing and understanding right now, this goes much deeper than college admissions scams. So one thing I want to start off with, I read this on social media today, and I've seen it a few places. There are people that have been doing fact checks on these 33 parents that were involved in the college admission scam who were arrested. And all of them are big donors to the DNC. And all of them gave an astronomical amount of money to Hillary Clinton's campaign, okay? Except for one person. But that person donated to a Republican candidate and also donated to the Democrats. So there you go. The reason this is important is because I've been saying this forever, but I'll say it again. The people that scream the loudest against President Trump have something to hide. They're criminals. And the ones that are screaming the loudest are pedophiles. So the elites and the celebrities in Hollywood that are the most unhinged against President Trump, those are the ones. It's such a simple formula. The ones the loudest against President Trump literally are criminals. There you go. It's that simple, okay? So I'm not surprised that all of these parents donated to Democrats and Hillary Clinton. Not surprised at all. Hillary Clinton's a criminal. They're criminals. President Trump's not a criminal. The criminals are scared of President Trump because they know that he's exposing them and taking them down. It is so basic. It's so simple. It's so black and white in this sense. People that scream loud against President Trump, they have something to hide. All right? And when they scream loud against him, they don't say anything honest about him. They lie about him. They accuse him of being what they are, a liar, a cheat, a rapist, a pedophile. You know, Q constantly says, think mirror, think mirror. They're projecting. They accuse him of what they're guilty of. So listen carefully to what they accuse him of, because most likely that's what they're guilty of. And it's been proven time and time and time and time again. And of course, I believe both Lori and Felicity, well, Felicity for sure, but I believe both of these people were celebrities, were very anti-Trump and pro-Hillary. Big shock. Okay, so here's what's important about this college admissions scam story. I believe it goes deeper, all right? Number one of the people that was arrested for this scam is a tennis instructor. And this tennis instructor taught Obama's kids, all right? And it's important for me to mention these connections because people need to understand all these people are connected. They're all connected and they're all part of a criminal network. And there's a reason why they lie for each other. There's a reason why they're all against Trump, because they're all guilty of something. So they all lie for each other to protect each other and attack Trump as a unit, as a team, because they know he's not one of them. And they now are realizing that he's going after them, which I've known for years that he'd go after them, but that's a different video. Okay. We are being led to believe, and I do believe this is true, but I just believe it's just one part of the story. We are led to believe that Lori and Felicity paid off these colleges to get their kids into college, all right? I worked in entertainment journalism for, about 15 years. And one of the things that surprised me the most when I got into entertainment journalism and I moved to Hollywood was that no one goes to college. None of these celebrities' kids go to college. Very few of them do. It's really hard to find, number one, a celebrity that's gone to college, but number two, one of their kids that goes to college. Most of these celebrities, they don't care if their kids go to college. These people are vain. They care about money and power and fame. So what they do is they're totally okay with their kids not getting an education, and they just want to push them into the entertainment world or, into some kind of public life, whether it's acting, singing, YouTube stars like Lori Loughlin's daughter. To them, they don't care if their kids go to college. They don't care. So, I'm reading the story and I'm thinking they're paying all this money to get their kid into college. And in Lori's situation, I believe it was $500,000. And to me, that's a red flag. That doesn't add up because, again, these people don't care about their kids going to college. All right? And if they play the game with the cabal, they can get their kids the right roles in Hollywood, and they can get their kids, the right, sponsorships if they want to be an Instagram model or YouTube stars. They don't need their kids to have a college degree. The cabal actually likes to prop up stupid people because they're easier to take advantage of. They're easier puppets. So it doesn't add up for me. And it could be, maybe there's a simple answer to this. Maybe I was going through Olivia Jade's Instagram and I was going through her YouTube videos the other night, and I noticed her content isn't that good. And it's like she's in her videos, she's the weather, it's like rainy out today. It's like, wow, that's all you have to talk about. She seemed that she didn't have interesting things to talk about and a lot of content. So I'm wondering if just sending her to college was to get her more content, because I noticed that some of her videos were, decorating my dorm room and, how we get ready for a frat party. And I don't know. The answer could be that simple, but my spidey senses tell me that there's something deeper to that. All right. So someone posted the other day that there is a chance that her daughter is involved in yachting, which is a slang term. And I'm going to read you the slang term. Now, I'm not saying she is involved in this because I don't know. This is speculation. But let me read you the slang term, all right? All right, yachting. Yachting is a term for Z to C-list celebrities who need money to supplement their incomes in order to keep up appearances. They will go on a yacht, typically owned by a millionaire or a billionaire, and do what the billionaire wants, mostly sexual wants. Celebrities will also most likely be caught by the paparazzi on the yacht, and people will think that the celeb has paid. Okay, so I didn't even know this was a thing, to tell you the truth. I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know there was a slang term for it called yachting, but there is. Okay, so this is true. This goes on in Hollywood, and so does the couch casting. It's very common, and as someone that works in Hollywood, I know that this exists. But let me just give you some insight from my personal experience. covering entertainment journalism in Hollywood. That really opened my eyes to a lot in terms of the yachting industry and the prostitution rings with a lot of these young girls who are, Insta models and YouTube stars and whatnot. When Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore got divorced, part of the reason why they got divorced is because Ashton cheated on Demi. And he cheated on her in San Diego, and he was staying at the Hard Rock Hotel in San Diego. And he cheated on her with this young girl, and that was kind of the catalyst for their divorce. They were having problems anyways, but that was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of why they got divorced. It's kind of the final straw, I think. And anyways, I went down to San Diego and covered this story and did an exclusive story on this story. And I ended up staying down in San Diego and staying at the Hard Rock Hotel it was miserable, by the way. The Hard Rock Hotel wasn't that bad. It's just what I had to do was miserable. I had to stay there for about almost 2 weeks, 2 full weeks. And I went undercover for most of the time. And what I did is I infiltrated this network of young girls who were all hanging out with Ashton Kutcher. And they were all at the party, okay? And some of them actually provided me with exclusive photos of Ashton at the actual penthouse party where he ended up cheating on Demi, all right? Hanging out with these girls, I was blown away because I realized they were all prostitutes. Every single one of them. And, I'd be hanging out with these girls to get the story, and every single one of them was kept. Most of them had a main guy, and they are flown to foreign countries, they're flown to yachts, they're flown to Vegas, and they are paid to have sex with older men. They are paid to just hang out with older men. And these women, they were very young. Most of them were in their early 20s. And they lived in these gorgeous condominiums that I've never lived in a place as gorgeous as these places. And some of them were just 1-2 bedroom condominiums, but they'd be right down in the San Diego Harbor, and they looked like, like they were decorated in such a sophisticated way. You would think that you were in like a castle. I mean, just dramatic drapes and expensive paintings, and it was unbelievable to me. And that's when I realized that there are rings and networks of young girls that are prostitutes, and they are not only kept, and most of them have a main guy. Not only are they kept, but they are paid to go to these private islands and these yachts and just exotic places to hang out with these older men and have sex with them. It's disgusting, okay? And it's actually pretty common, and it's big business. It's a big industry, and a lot of these girls are doing it, and they don't think twice about it. It's just. It was a really weird 2 weeks, and I'll never forget the one girl. At one point, we were all hanging out, and she was talking about. She said, my guy, wants us, wants us to fly down to, I don't know, like the Amalfi Coast next week. And I remember one of the girls was like, "Oh, your guy is so fat and old and disgusting. Sorry, I can't go because I don't want to have sex with him." And she's like, No. She's like, "You don't have to have sex with him. You could just do other things." And I'm like. And they just talk about that kind of stuff like it's no big deal. It was really sad, actually. It was very sad. But, okay. There's still a lot of speculation online that Olivia Jade is involved in yachting. And again, I don't know for sure if she is or if she isn't. But I went through her Instagram page, and I went through, like I said before, some of her YouTube videos and whatnot. And I'm seeing a lot of red flags. I'm seeing a lot of red flags that, Olivia's in the club. She's doing a lot of Illuminati symbolism. She is like on a lot of very luxurious vacations. She's photographed on yachts often. And the one thing that bothered me the most is photos of her in St. Thomas. Now, she didn't tag that she was in St. Thomas, but her friends were all commenting, oh, we love St. Thomas, we love St. Thomas. Well, whose private island is right off the coast of St. Thomas? Child sex trafficker and convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. And those pictures were from 2015. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, is she part of that network? Was she on Jeffrey Epstein's island? Was she there? How deep does this go? So I think that this story has legs and there's a lot more to it. And maybe there isn't. But again, my spidey sense is telling me that there is more to it. And I think we're going to learn more about this story. And I think that this story is going to lead into many more arrests. And actually, the federal prosecutor that gave the press conference said that it was still ongoing and that there would be more arrests. So there you go. Okay, so let's see. What should we talk about next? Now, speaking about Jeffrey Epstein's island, since I just brought it up, I'll talk about that. Jeffrey Epstein. All right. The Epoch Times reported last week that a court is on the verge of unsealing hundreds of documents that could provide new evidence against alleged child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and many of his potential cohorts. Now, Q posted about this. Let me read you Q's posts. Q posted last week a document that has Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs. I encourage everyone to go and look at those flight logs, look at the names and research all the people that have gone to his islands. Spacey's on the flight logs. Kevin Spacey, we know is a pedophile. Naomi Campbell, she hung out with him a lot. Naomi Campbell, things aren't looking good for you. Bill Clinton is on the flight logs. Hillary Clinton's on the flight logs, but we know that she's been in Epstein's island thanks to Eric Prince, and that was reported via Breitbart. Anyways, let me read this Q post. But Q posted the logs to the flight. I'm sorry. The flight logs from the Lolita Express, which is his private plane that went to the island, which I've gone through. I went through years ago. Anyways, Q wrote, "This is not just about sex trafficking. Will the rich and powerful influence the court to prevent the unsealing? The tale of two: sex resort, non-temple resort only, trafficked and drugged underage kids. Occult worship of evil, Haiti, pray for the victims." Again, Q encouraging us to pray. All right, so there's a lot of Q posts, you guys, I don't understand. But the ones I understand are the ones about Pizzagate and the child sex trafficking. So what Q is saying is there are two purposes or aspects to Jeffrey Epstein's island. It was used as a sex resort. So there are people that have gone there, and I've actually talked to people that have worked on the island, by the way. So there are people that have gone there, and to them, it appeared as a place where you could just party and have sex with underage girls. And that's what they saw, and that may be all they know about the islands. Then there's members of the cult. So the elites that eat babies, rape babies, traffic babies, sacrifice babies, that, sacrifice babies to Mola. The elites that worship Baal. The elites that are Satanists, that worship Satan. They also go there to conduct rituals, all right? There was a temple on Jeffrey Epstein's island, which I believe has been taken down, or part of it has been. And underneath there are underground caves and whatnot, and they would do all their disgusting satanic rituals, like in the temple and underground. So Q's trying to explain that to us. Q is letting us know that, because there are going to be people that come out and say, oh, I went there, and there was no one eating babies, there was no one worshiping Moloch. Oh, okay. Did you go in the temple? Did you see the underground caves? And okay, yeah, then you were one of the people that they knew isn't a Satan worshiper that went there for just to hang out and maybe do a business deal with Jeffrey, that just saw the sex resort aspect. But Q has posted about this before. Actually posted security camera footage from Epstein's island that I believe was taken from that Ray Chandler's cell phone. And we know Ray Chandler is a really sick young woman who is a recruiter that recruits young girls to be sex slaves. in these networks that, like I was just talking about, these prostitution networks, all right? Again, they're more common than you would think, especially in the elite circles, especially in Hollywood. Okay, let me just read what I wrote about this post too, because I wrote it in a way that I don't know if I can say it as eloquently. All right. So what Q is also letting us know is that the island isn't just about sex trafficking. He's letting us know that, no, this is about the satanic ritualistic abuse of kids. And this is the one thing that a lot of people don't understand. The mainstream media has covered up the satanic ritualistic abuse aspect of the sex trafficking like no other. They barely cover sex trafficking at all, but what the cabal fears the most about getting exposed is the satanic ritualistic abuse of kids. They don't want the world to know that they are full-blown demons. They are full-blown Satanists that are performing these horrific rituals on kids. They want people to think that's only in the movies, that this stuff doesn't exist, that it's all fantasy, and people like me who talk about these things and expose these things are quote-unquote crazy. No, you're the crazy ones. I'm not the crazy one. You guys are the crazy ones. Anyways, Q is letting us know that because this is the one thing that no one really touches. You know, the mainstream media will talk about, you know, a pedophile getting busted here and there, but no one talks about this. Even the quote-unquote whistleblowers in Hollywood who are quote-unquote exposing the pedophiles, quote-unquote exposing sex trafficking, if they're not exposing the satanic ritualistic abuse of kids in Hollywood, then they're probably a shill. They're probably a fraud. They're probably deep state. They're probably controlled opposition, FYI. So here's what I wrote. Q is letting us know that Epstein's island was not just about sex trafficking and pedophilia. It is about the satanic ritualistic abuse of children. They rape, torture, and sacrifice children in the name of Moloch Baal. They also eat the children, drink their blood, extract fluid for adrenochrome, sell their organs, etc. Their sacrifices and witchcraft need to be countered with prayer because this is spiritual warfare. So this is why Q encourages prayer, like I said before. This is what the MSM will never tell you. This is Pizzagate. Lord, we ask that you expose every person who has hurt your precious children and that absolutely no one escapes justice. We ask that you heal the heart, mind, body, and soul of every victim, returning them to perfect humans. You intended them to be in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. So I added a prayer to that because Q asked us to pray, which I believe they are in the process of freeing a lot of victims. And that's why Q said, we'll always pray for victims, but I believe that there's going to be victims, a lot of victims being freed and coming. I just think there's going to be a lot of victims coming out that are going to need serious help and serious prayer and just a lot. And I always look for symbolism. Like I say, this is spiritual warfare, and I always look for signs from God that the rest are really happening, and President Trump is taking down the pedophiles, and all these things are happening. And, you know, the other day, I walked outside, yesterday, I walked outside, and a swarm of butterflies, they weren't monarch butterflies, but they look like monarch butterflies, just like literally thousands of them fluttered around me. And there's been actually a lot of stories written about this in the local press here in California, but because there's been so much rain this season, there's like a record number of butterflies migrating from Mexico. And so there's just butterflies everywhere, and they look just like the monarch butterfly. Well, the CIA's mind control program was called Project Monarch, after the monarch butterfly. So when I saw all these butterflies flying around the other day, and you can still see them, they're everywhere here. It's so beautiful to see. I'm like, thank you, God. That is God's way of showing me and the world that the monarch slaves, the monarch abuse victims, they're being freed. They're being freed. That's what I believe that means. Okay, so that's Epstein's Island. Okay, I'm gonna talk about NXIVM and wrap it up. I'm just going over the most important things going on that are related to Pizzagate, Pedogate, and the child sex trafficking, and the mass arrests of these elite pedophiles that are currently being taken down. Okay. Okay, so this is awesome. So NXIVM, okay? So NXIVM is a child sex trafficking cult. Celebrity Allison Mack was arrested for committing crimes last summer as a member of this child sex trafficking cult, and so was the leader, Keith Raniere, and so was Claire Bronfman. Claire Bronfman was arrested. She's an heir. She's a Seagram's heiress. Okay, when these arrests happens, so this is a child sex trafficking sex cult, and I believe it was based in New York, and where they definitely had locations in New York by Hillary's home. And not only were they trafficking kids and the leader was raping kids, they were performing experiments, like crazy human experiments, like straight from World War II, like Nazi style experiments, which actually were brought over here after World War II. So all those mad scientists that were performing experiments on animals and human beings, like whether it be cloning, mind control experiments, you name it, our deep state, our CIA adapted those experiments and continued them. And that's why we have Project Monarch, and that's why we have all of these people running around who are under MK Ultra mind control. And NXIVM, the NXIVM cult, this is all documented. This is not conspiracy theory. There's been articles about this. The NXIVM cult was doing experiments on people illegally. And because the New York State government and the governor in New York State and so many politicians in New York State were so corrupt that when people would file complaints against NXIVM or attempt to file charges against them, they were ignored. And the only reason why NXIVM is being exposed right now is because President Trump won. Now, when this story came out last summer, and again, this is part of the storm, these arrests happened last summer. So technically you can say that the mass arrests started last summer because these were major arrests. And these people are connected to the bigger fish that are going to be going down soon enough. Now, when these arrests happened with Keith Raniere and Allison Mack last year, I instantly was like, oh, I guarantee you they're tied to Hillary Clinton, and Hillary Clinton's involved with this group in some way, shape, or form. No question. And it's hard to find information about these topics because Google is so powerful and the cabal controls basically the internet, so a lot of the stuff gets scrubbed. But I've known for a very long time that there would be a connection to Hillary Clinton with this group that would be exposed. Okay, so sure enough, last week, there's been ongoing court cases with the NXIVM case. Last week, it came out in evidence that there's allegations of illegal finance contributions through conduits to what appeared to be Hillary Clinton. Boom! Boom! Okay? Been waiting for that. Been looking for that for a very long time. Jeffrey Peterson reported this on Twitter. And then he also wrote, there's concrete evidence of child molestation against NXIVM's leader, Keith Raniere. Boom! I've been saying that since last summer. He's a child molester. They're trafficking kids. But the mainstream media, they've been leading you to believe this is a sex cult with just adults. No one in the mainstream media has been talking about the fact that they were raping kids. So frustrating. But anyways, because this came out in court last week, now the mainstream media is being forced to tell the truth about this. So the Daily Mail did report, some other places did report that, yeah, we're trafficking kids and they were molesting kids. Anyways, so all this stuff that's happening with NXIVM is connected to the Clintons. And again, like I was saying before, all these people are connected. They're all criminals. Many of them are pedophiles, or if they're not pedophiles, they are involved in some way, shape, or form of the trafficking of children. Like NXIVM, the Clintons, Jeffrey Epstein, and, like Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. Now, I'm not saying that they are directly involved with child sex trafficking because I don't know that. Hold on, you guys. My password just zoned out. I still can barely type because of my damn fingers. It's so frustrating. I still can't even touch the keyboard. They're that sensitive still. Anyways, the MSM is now being forced to report this. Okay. The other bombshell related to the NXIVM case that came out thanks to my favorite, Joe M. He's my favorite source of information. He just drops bombs like no one else on Twitter. Okay. This was stunning to me, even though nothing really shocks me, but I was just stunned that this came out. Okay, so Joe posted on Twitter last week, NXIVM is the fly paper that will keep adding the new flies, kind of just like I was talking about, as we move towards disturbing disclosure of the pedophile club that controls DC. The $65,000 worth of, quote, hot dog delivery was via one of Rainier's flights. Instead, it transported children for sex parties inside the Obama White House. Bum! I didn't even think to connect Rainier to Obama. I was so focused on trying to connect him to Hillary Clinton. So what Joe is saying in the WikiLeaks emails, and I always tell people, go look at this stuff yourself. So you can't call me a conspiracy theory. Go look this stuff up yourself so you know this stuff is true. Do your due diligence. If you go to the WikiLeaks emails, you will find, I don't know if they were the DNC emails or the Podesta emails. I think they were the Podesta emails. There was a $65,000 delivery of hot dogs to the Obama White House. Hot dogs is a pedophile code word for children, okay? Joe is saying that the plane that took these children that were sex trafficked to the White House for a party in the White House for Obama and other elites was used by Keith Rainier, the guy who was arrested last year for running a child sex trafficking cult. Hello! All of these people are connected. And again, if you don't think that Obama's going to get arrested, and if you don't think Hillary Clinton's going to get arrested, then you're living in denial. Because all these people are linked, and we're already seeing the dominoes fall, all right? And back to Lori and Felicity. Again, I don't know if they're directly involved in sex trafficking. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Oh, I wanted to add, when Lori was arrested, her daughter was on the yacht of one of the elites that works at USC's. Yes, so she was on the yacht of one of the alumni or members or like one of the board people at the USC's. She was on that person's yacht. I don't think that was an accident. I think that the white hats, the good guys, want to draw attention to the yachts and this culture of yachting, okay? And one more thing I want to say about Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. I believe that the good guys unsealed these arrests first because most people think that Felicity and Lori are just great moms and they have a pretty good public image and, you know, they're just they play these sweet characters on TV and it's like Lori's in Hallmark movies and she's Aunt Becky. These women have pretty good public images both on camera and off camera. All right? And man, I'm an investigative journalist. I cover entertainment for years. I've never thought twice about Lori. I never heard anything bad about her. I was surprised by her getting arrested. So if I'm surprised, then think about how many other people are surprised. Because I know a lot of the horrible things that go on in this business, more so than most. But I was even surprised. I think the reason why they chose her is because, number one, they're trying to prepare the public for understanding that people that we think are wonderful people, just great American people, they're not. They're evil. They're Jekyll and Hyde. They're wearing a mask, okay? Number one. And another reason why I think that the good guys released and unsealed these arrests first is because what they were arrested for, and I do believe that there could be more charges that are brought about against them, but the charges that we're reading about and we're seeing now, they're white-collar crimes. They're not that shocking. Normies are being shocked right now. I'm watching liberals freak out about this. I'm watching normies freak out about this. And I'm just sitting here like, oh God. I'm just sitting here like, they're outraged by this. Like, wait until they hear about how people in Hollywood eat babies. Oh my God. God help people that are freaking out about this, because this is the least of the crimes that these people are guilty of. I'm not specifically saying Lori and Felicity. I'm just saying in general, this is nothing compared to what these people are capable and what they're doing, particularly to children. But I believe the white hats are trying to slowly prepare the public for what is about to come. So they're starting off small, white-collar crimes, and we're slowly going to get up to the bigger crimes, which involve treason, trafficking kids, satanic ritualistic abuse, and all those horrific things. So that's why I believe Lori and Felicity were charged. And they were actually, they're brilliant. Those were two brilliant women to expose first. And so, and also Q did write a post, I think it was within the past 2 weeks, saying that the first unsealed indictments will bring unity. And it's interesting because with the arrest of Lori and Felicity, every American is outraged by it. Nobody wants some privileged, spoiled brat to have a leg up on their kid, especially when they have to go into debt to send their kids to college. Like, so many people are outraged by this. And I was thinking, all right, Q's right. Like, here we go. Like these arrests are actually bringing people together, because this isn't a left issue. This isn't a right issue. No, this is about scamming the system and making it unfair and skewing it. So, you know, if you have money and fame and power and wealth, then your kids have a better shot, you know, than Joe Schmo, who's a plumber and can't afford to get his kid bribed into college. And even if you could, how are you helping your kid? How are you helping your kid? What lesson are you teaching your kid when you're saying you're not good enough, you're not smart enough to get in college on your own, so I'm going to have to, like, fork out $500,000 to get you in? Like, how is that helping? That's not helping your kid. But anyways, all right, I think that's everything I wanted to say today. So, yeah, keep an eye on NXIVM. Keep an eye on Lori and Felicity. Keep an eye on that case. I encourage people to look into all these elites that were arrested and look into their connections. I've been looking at this stuff nonstop, but there's so much to look into. It's overwhelming. And this is just the beginning of the mass arrest. Like, this is just the beginning. I mean, if you think this is crazy, then, you know, hold on, people. The ride's only going to get crazier and bumpier. Just make sure you're stocked up on lots of popcorn. But the mass arrests are here. We're finally seeing everything blowing wide open. This is what I've been preparing for basically my whole life, but, you know, hardcore these past 2+ years. This is the moment I have been preparing for and fighting for and preparing for. So it's finally here. So I encourage you to go to my social media pages, what's left of them: Instagram, Facebook, at Liz Crokin, Gab, at Liz M. Crokin. And just please continue to pray for people like myself and other people on the front lines. I notice a lot of people are getting attacked right now, and it's frustrating. But at the same point in time, it's also good, because when the enemy attacks like this, they're cornered, they're desperate, they're scared, and they're running. So it's a good sign, but it's not fun to deal with these attacks. All right. So that's all I got today. Thanks, you guys. And if you have any other info regarding any of the topics I talked about, just put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. I appreciate your insight, and I get a lot of good information from you guys. So, all right, guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day.